The time has come for me to take charge of the football club I support on Football Manager and inevitably make some emotional decisions that make me look like a complete idiot. This is the start of my one season FM20 Beta save. We're managing Championship side Luton Town. Hello and welcome along to episode 1 of this FM20 Beta save with me, Daniel. We've taken charge of my beloved Luton Town and we're hoping to keep them in the Championship after back-to-back promotions from League 2 in recent years. We've been playing brilliant football and moving through the leagues, but this is a very different challenge for the club. Armed with by far the smallest budget in the league, having lost their two best fullbacks in the summer, they've got to really rebuild this side and try and survive at the second tier of English football. Arguably the most competitive league in the world, always the accusation thrown at the Championship, and an inexperienced manager at local level has got to try and keep this club up on a shoestring budget. So again we start on the very first screen, having been hired by Luton Town, a decent wage and replacing Graham Jones, a manager who in this game will have never managed the club. But firstly, before we get started with this one, of course we started our long-term one club story with Dorking Wanderers yesterday, a series which will be running 5 days a week as we try to take them from the lowest playable league in England and up towards English and European glory, taking them to the top of the footballing world. We'll have loads of hurdles in the way and I'm sure a very difficult start, but I hope you'll go and check that one out, where hopefully we'll make a few less rash decisions. We looked at a couple of the new features in that as well, particularly the club vision in detail, and the development centre we'll look at in the coming days as episode 2 comes along tomorrow. This series will run twice a week on Saturday and Tuesday at 4:30, and then every other day we'll have an episode from our Dorking Wanderer story, so 7 episodes a week on the channel. I'm really looking forward to making FM20 content, and I hope you're excited for it too. If you are looking forward to this season with Luton Town, please do put a thumbs up on the video, and if you're new to the channel then subscribe for that daily FM20 content from both this save and our long-term story. But let's go and get straight into the introductions at Luton, a club I obviously know very well, and that's going to be the hardest thing for me as the squad isn't going to be rated exactly as I want it. We've got a really tiny ground as we await for the new one to be built, although we are in relatively new training facilities which are a huge step up from what we had previously. So the youth recruitment's average, but the youth and training facilities are great, and although we've got a relatively tiny stadium, we should have a little bit of transfer budget remaining. We sold 2 fullbacks in the summer for a combined 12 million. James Justin went to Leicester and Jack Stacey went off to Bournemouth. I'm going to hope they're on the loan list at their respective clubs so we can get one or both of them back. And don't forget, for those of you that follow my channel regularly, we're not following our usual rules in this series. We usually self-impose that we can't use the player or staff search screen, but in this series we can use absolutely everything. I just want to see where the game ranks Luton Town, who they think we're capable of signing, the sort of budgets they think we've got. We've got a 2.5-star reputation and we're expected to finish 3rd bottom, and our director of football role's vacant despite Nick Harford having it in real life, so we're going to have to go and have a look at that. Maybe he's listed as the chief scout or something. So let's skip through this screen and look at our best 11. A 4-3-3 what they've gone for here. James Collins up front, a New Ireland international, and the likes of Izzy Brown on loan not in that side. He's a player who's earning 25 grand a week. That's interesting, as I doubt we'd pay all of his wage in real life, so I'm certainly a little bit surprised by that. I'm pretty certain Luton can't afford to pay that at all, so perhaps that's a slight data oversight, but we've got a really determined squad and back-to-back promotions in real life prove that, and top earner Seaman Sluger in goal, who's had a really difficult start at the club. So let's put all of those preconceptions aside and meet the squad on Football Manager, and of course we've got to go through the club vision first to see what the board are expecting of us. Now in real life they're Luton fans and have been very patient with people at the club, so I'm hoping they'll do the same here. They want to develop players using the club's youth system, something that's happened over many years at the club, play attacking football, something we enjoy, sign players under the age of 22, make the most of set pieces as well, and possession football, not something I was hoping to play with Luton Town, although we do it quite well in real life, is not going to suit our Championship side. We're one of the underdogs, we've got one of the smallest budgets in the league, and probably one of the least talented squads on paper, so it is going to make things difficult having to play attractive football, but if we can make the most of set pieces, I'm hoping the board will forgive us. They want to work within their wage budget and maintain self-sustainability, something that's important to me as well. I don't want to bankrupt my favourite team. They want to avoid relegation, which is going to be an immediately difficult task, and our contract's only for 1 year, so the players could down tools if they don't like us. They want to stay up and then become an established Sky Bet Championship team next season. Of course we may not be here to do that, it's only planned to be a one-season beta save, but a couple of you have mentioned carrying on already, and if we really enjoy the content, and you guys are too, of course we'll go ahead and do another season, so let me know your thoughts on that as we go along. They want to work to a top half finish in 3 or 4 years, and hopefully the new stadium's in this game as well. We're going to get a backroom staff report and schedule a press conference, but again there's no need for a friendly tomorrow. And we'll go and save the game very quickly off camera and be back with our introductions to the club. So the difference in this one to the long-term story with Dorking Wanderers is rather than just loading the British leagues, we've loaded nearly all of them in Europe, so we can sign players like Simon Sluga, who are playing in random leagues across Europe, and it'll be a little bit more realistic for us, although we are going to look at the players we sold in the summer. So there's a tactics induction which we don't need to do, it's obviously pretty similar to FM19, and there's no need for us to negotiate the club vision, we're pretty happy with what they've put in place. Let's check out our report on pre-season preparation. Of course the happiness in the squad's very good, reflecting the fact they got promotion last year, and I think the initial pre-season schedule can be managed by the coaches. They're certainly going to have far more experience than us. The fitness report's good, just Glenn Ray out injured. Similar to real life, he's out for another 3 months, been out for a year in total, and now he's just gone on loan to Woking in real life, just to get a month for National League football, before hopefully coming back to get in the first team. A really good player when he gets back though, so he's someone we've certainly got to look after. The squad selection rules say we need 7 players in the match squad trained in England. That shouldn't be difficult with our overwhelmingly British squad. We've never been able to afford to sign overseas players too often, so it's certainly not going to be a concern for us. We can't have more than 5 loan players. Hopefully 1 or 2 of them will be our former ones, and fingers crossed we'll be able to tempt them back. I'm really looking forward to hopefully getting James Justin. He was brought through the youth academy and sold to Leicester for 8 million in the summer, so I'd love to get him back at the club here, particularly now he's an England under-21 international too. So we'll try not to make rash decisions and base it on our real life expectations, and we'll trust our coaching team in game and try and build a side that can survive in this level. So let's very quickly go and have a look at the staffing, just to find out what's going on with that director of football, and it is because Mick Harford's lifted as chief scout, and of course he's got decent ability and potential judgment, something that's very important to us. Managed the club for the second half of last season, after Nathan Jones ran away to Stoke, so yet further cemented his place as club legend. Mick Harford is an absolute stalwart of the club. Our assistant manager is another former manager at the club, Gary Brabbin, who came along with Graham Jones. Not got great ratings, but I'm sure he'll do alright for us, and he's got plenty of experience at the club. And then Andy Orford, the head of youth development, former Pompey manager when they were on their way down the leagues. He's really good working with youngsters and has good judgment of player potential, and that's all we need at this level. He's got a good personality too. But the one thing I've got to do before we start is go and find Nathan Jones at Stoke, the man who abandoned us in the middle of last year, and the way he left the club was really horrible, so we're going to go and change his name if we can. Let's set him a nickname, one that will be familiar with most of the Luton fans. Let's get rid of Nathan Jones, and we're going to go and call him the Snake instead. So hopefully he'll get sacked in the first couple of months. Obviously in real life, Stoke one of the few clubs below us, and a professional personality, not something I'm a particular fan of, particularly considering his conduct at our club. A brilliant manager and young coach, absolutely no doubt about that, but he has not got the right attitude to professionalism. So let's finish by meeting the squad in detail, and then we will go and have a look at the transfer market. I'm not going to try and start signing players today, but I just want to see what the game thinks is realistic for Luton Town, who's on the transfer list and loan list we can sign, and hopefully we'll have some surprises at the start of the season. Of course this one will be back on Tuesday with the first game at Championship level. Is it the real fixture list with Middlesbrough on Friday night? It is, so we've got that one to look forward to. A thrilling 3-3 draw in real life. Not sure if we'll be able to match that in game. But we've got Simon Sluga, the goalkeeper, record signing of just over £1 million in the summer, and at Championship level that puts into perspective how limited we are. 4-star ability, 4-star potential. Croatia's number 2, he's made an appearance for them, and he's a really solid keeper across the board. So no need to sign a replacement there. The continental keeper likes to come out and play football, and he's had a woeful start to his career in real life, but I'll try not to judge him on that. We've got 3 really well rated defenders here. Martin Craney, an experienced man from Sheffield United, made 15 appearances as they got promoted to the Premier League last year, and he looks a solid player and particularly versatile as well. At centre half we've got Sonny Bradley and Matty Pearson, 2 really solid defenders again. 3.5-star ability for both of them, probably not quite the best in terms of pace, but everything else is very solid. At right back we've also got James Bree on loan from Aston Villa, 3.5 ability, 5-star potential. another young player with bags of potential, and I'm really looking forward to working with him. We've got Brendan Galloway on a free from Everton. He was released in the summer, of course made a few Premier League appearances in his day, but he hasn't quite reached his potential yet. And then Dan Potts at left back, 3.5-star ability too. I think he's going to be first choice at the start of the year. Into midfield, we've looked at Glenn Ray briefly already. He's out injured for a little while. We've got Ryan Tunnicliffe, a central midfielder, another new signing on a free transfer. Plenty of games at Millwall at this level in the last couple of years. 3.5 ability, 3.5 potential, and a real engine in there. Plenty of really good mental stats as well. Got to stop him diving into tackles if possible, but otherwise a pretty impressive player. We've got Pelly Ruddocken Panzer as well, another 3.5-star player. Been with us for 7 years since we were in the National League, and he's become a bit of a stalwart and legend at the club. Works hard and is incredibly athletic, and he has the right determination too, so certainly a player we'll be using a lot. Then moving forward, Luke Berry's got 3.5-star ability as well, although it looks like he's on the transfer list here. He's one of the best players on paper in this game, so we're certainly going to be taking him off the list. We've got Kazenga Lawar and Callum McManaman, the wingers, again both experienced pros, and probably two of our most recognisable names from the higher leagues. McManaman playing in that FA Cup final for Wigan, the famous one he was man of the match against City. Now he's down at Luton Town and can play on either side, and at 28 years of age, I'm sure he'll be able to contribute. And then Kazenga Lawar on the left wing, he's another player with 3.5-star ability, a really good player for us, really tricky and works his backside off, so I can't wait to see him get going. And I hope if he scores he'll do his backflips in celebration. And then moving down towards the striking areas, Elliot Lee's really highly rated as well. 3.5-star ability, 3.5 potential, a solid player, son of England international Rob Lee, and he's got the key attributes so he could be crucial for us, despite barely having a kick in real life. Harry Cornick, a quick young right winger, can also play up front as well. 3.5-star ability again. It seems like a lot of our players are evenly rated. He's got decent attributes, particularly physically, and still a little bit of room to develop. We've talked about Izzy Brown, who's on loan, earning loads of money at the club at the moment, and we can't terminate the loan, so he's eating up most of our wage bill, but a really solid player, and he could be that little spark we need. On loan from Chelsea, and he's played for some big clubs, and hopefully he'll be able to be special for us. And then finally, the star up front is James Collins. At 28 years of age, he's just made his Ireland debut in real life, scored a goal on his debut for them too, and he's been scoring goals for fun for us for the last couple of years, 44 in 86 in League 2 and League 1, and he started the season in the Championship with 4 or 5 goals, so he certainly looks like he's adapted to that level. Good on the floor, good in the air, he works incredibly hard and has fantastic fitness, and he also is a good team player too, brilliant at defending set pieces. So he's someone I can't wait to manage. I think he's going to be absolutely crucial to our success, a pressing forward which we're going to need up there, someone working hard to close the opposition down. If we can nick 3 or 4 really easy goals over the season, ones that are gifts that we don't really deserve, that could be the difference between staying up and going down, and that's all we've got to look after this season. So let me know what you think of the squad, and particularly where we need to improve. I'm thinking of going for a 4-2-3-1 formation with Izzy Brown in the number 10 role, and hopefully we'll be able to get a few goals that way, though I do worry about exposing our back four. So maybe we will need to improve in that area slightly, though we've got a pretty solid squad across the board. It's just if we can sign 1 or 2 exceptional talents, which will hopefully be able to take us to that next level. We just need that bit of gold dust to win us 10 or 15 games, and that could be all we need to get survival. So 2 more things we're going to go and look at. Firstly, the development centre. Unfortunately, no players that are ready to be first team candidates, but we've got loads of ones to watch in the youth teams, and that's a really good sign for Luton Town. Players with 3-star potential, 3.5-star in the case of that right back there, and that could be players with sell-on value for us, and we keep that youth academy working for the club. So I'm really excited about that as well. Cannot wait to get going with this team, and even if we do end up getting relegated, I just can't wait to manage Luton Town. I'm so proud of the fact we've been promoted 2 years in a row, and it's a club that's definitely moving in the right direction. So I did mention we'd go and look to see if the new stadium was on here. Planning permission has been approved for the ground, so I'm just waiting to see if it's going to be recognised in game. It has in 2024. I'm hoping it won't quite take that long, but a 17,500 seater with room for potential expansion too. So that could be great if we end up here long term, but of course at first this is just a 1 season challenge. But the new training ground and youth facilities have certainly made this club a better prospect, and if we go and have a look in the transfer market now, let's see who's available for us to sign. We've got £6.5 remaining on the wage budget and only £120 in transfer budget, so realistically we can't sign a first team player at this level. It might just be loaning in one key player. So let's go and have a look at the scout reports, recommending Aaron Ramsdale for £25 million. Absolutely ridiculous that is. If we have a look at the players that have been scouted, there's a few potential loanees on the list. Ryan Brewster from Liverpool looks a good player. Billy Gilmore from Chelsea, another one. Eric Garcia, the centre-half at Man City. So potentially we could be relying on youth a bit. There's some players as free agents that are being looked at too. And look at some of the names that are in there. Martin Olsen, the experienced left-back. He's a really good pro if we could get him. I'm interested to know what wages they want. £20 a week. We're certainly not paying that. Wilfred Boney, £20 a week. Eunice Cabal, £20 a week. And Darren Fletcher, only £10 a week for him, but he's 35 years of age now, and although he'd be a brilliant contributor off the pitch, perfect model citizen, a United legend, he's the sort of player that could be brilliant for mentoring groups, but unfortunately he's not going to contribute enough on the pitch. We can't afford to waste our budgets on that. Unfortunately, we have to focus on the here and now. So if we go and have a look at the player search screen, of course this is probably the only series we'll use it in. Matty Longstaff is top of the list at the moment, a player we could potentially loan in again, and I want to see the players that are available for loan. They're the ones we've got to really keep our eye on. So slightly interested, Aaron Connolly's up there too. He's a player we had on loan last year, doing brilliantly for Brighton in the Premier League in real life. And experienced players on there such as Cyrus Christie, another one we could potentially look at in the future. The only other one that interests me on there is James Garner. He's a really good defensive midfield player at United, and his stats are absolutely incredible on here. He could be a key player if we manage to get him. So plenty for me to think about there. Should we have a quick look at the transfer ones as well? In terms of players that are on the transfer list, I guess that's what I want to look for. If there are any star players up there that we could sign, again it's just the likes of Christie and Bennett. So good players, but we're going to be looking at the low market for sure. And then the last thing I want to do is look at those two players we sold in the summer. Jack Stacey, who's now in the first team at Bournemouth, and James Justin, who's gone off to Leicester. So Jack Stacey is rated really well actually, a squad player at Bournemouth now, and you can already see the step up in standard there. If we were able to keep him for this season, it'd certainly make a huge difference to this level. So we're not going to be able to loan him. He's not loan listed and they don't really want to let him go. They're reluctant to let him go because he's involved in first team commitments, so that's one out of the two out of the water. Let's try James Justin too. I really hope we can get this one back. A youth academy prospect the fans absolutely love him, and I really hope we're able to sign him. Not rated quite as well, but natural at right and left back. He's an England under-21 international in real life, and he's played for the under-20s beforehand too. He's got good physical attributes and he's decent everywhere else, and would certainly make a difference at Luton Town. It looks like he's on the loan list, but he wasn't listed as one who would be willing to join, so let's see what it says here. Make Leicester an offer for James Justin. We're going to try and loan him. They want £18 a week, and that's blown us out the water, possibly why we're not able to sign him. So I'm going to see if we can find a way around that, as I'm desperate to have him at the club, but otherwise we might have to be realistic and sign players that can make a difference for us. I will also try and get a senior affiliate club, something that I don't think we have in place already. We've just got Crawley Green, the most local club to my house. They use the Luton Town training ground as their home ground, so really nice to see that local link recognised in game. Crawley Green in step 5 of the non-league pyramid, a side I'd like to manage in a future FM. But that's it for our introduction to Luton Town. We'll be back on the first day of the season on the 2nd of August. Our home to Middlesbrough in the Sky Bet Championship. Hopefully we can get off to a winning start. Let me know where you think we need to improve in the squad. Of course there's a few areas we'd like to get a couple of names out. If we can raise a little bit of a budget so we can sign 1 or 2 top players, that would be preferable, but the wage restrictions seem to be the big problem. If you did enjoy the episode and are looking forward to this season with Luton Town, please do put a thumbs up on the video. As I said, I'll try my best not to make too many rash decisions, but I can't promise I won't do something silly. Subscribe to the channel for daily FM20 content, 2 episodes a week from this series with Luton Town, and 5 from our One Club story with Dorking Wanderers. We're taking them from the lowest playable league to the top of English and European football, and the second episode of that one will be out tomorrow. If you didn't see the first one yesterday, then do go back and catch up, as we introduced the club and met the squad for the first time, and again you can let me know your thoughts on that team too, as there's certainly a lot more work to do with that one. Finally, my Cricket 19 career continues with 2 episodes a week on Saturday and Tuesday at midday. The latest episode of that one was out earlier today, so if you haven't seen that one yet, then do go and give it a try. But a massive thanks for watching this episode and supporting the channel as always. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to see you on Tuesday for the next episode from this one as we start the championship season with Luton Town.